Hello everyone. We're going to wait for people to come into the room. Welcome to the broadcast. Hello Moira. Hello Trixie. Hello Heather. Hello Camera. Hello Miger. Hello Jessica. Hello MS 1024. Hello Melanie. Hello Natural Grace. Hello Thomas. Hello Ignite Your Destiny. Hello Rosie. Thank you for inviting followers. Hi Marcy. Hello. Thank you for inviting. Hello, Hugo. Good to see you. Hello, Dahlia. Hello, Jamie. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Jeannie Jolie. Good to see you, everybody. How are you doing? How's everyone doing? Hi, Frenchie. Oh, wow. It just went really fast. Hi, Dawn. Hello, everyone. Wow, everyone's coming in at one time. Okay, so, greetings. Greetings, Kat. Hello, everybody. Hi, Tina. All right, good to see you, everyone. We've got 40 people here. So how's the connection? Is it okay, everybody? Is it okay? Hi, Euros Queen. Thank you for sharing, everybody. All right, how's the connection? I need to ask that because it's been kind of crazy, but, you know, we're probably just going to keep going. It's great? Good. Hi, Miss Twitchy. Thank you. Camera up. You're Dawn? Is that your Dawn? Cutting out. The nail salon. I love it. Good. You're freezing? Okay, little glitches. It's been a little wonky today, but we'll see. We're just probably going to keep going. Connection's good. Okay, good. Jeannie, you changed your name, didn't you? You changed your name. Yes, Dawn. Good. All right, so here we go. That is Dawn. Good. Hello, Autumn. Yeah, it's quite a story. All right. So, welcome everybody. Please put a 1 in the chat if you do not know me. Hi, Red Wolves. If you do not know me or you're new to the broadcast. Yes, it's real. If you're not actually interested in the work that's going on here or what I'm going to tell you, then maybe you don't need to be here right now. I'm just going to say that right now. Hi, Hugh. Good to see you. I'm going to say that right off the bat. All right, hold on. Fairly new. Hi, Linda. I'm going to try to work on this just for a second, everyone. That's okay. This is a really important thing for me. So if you're new, you're welcome to listen in. You're completely welcome to listen into the story. I love you too. But if you're just here to kind of contradict and not even listen, good, awesome, interesting. You died 2 times. Good, awesome. This is the time that you might want to use the feature. So it's okay. All good. I love you too. Hello, Andrea. Good to see you. Hello, Jeffrey, and I need to get back to you. Okay, let's go. All right, I have a glass of wine. I'm going to move into the story now. Hi, Hugh. It's great to see you. We love you. I love you too. All right, so we've got 95 people here. So just to let you all know, my name is Max Ryan. I have been on the Periscope platform for almost a year now. Almost 1 year. It's kind of crazy. And I have been helping people. I've been doing lots of different things for Periscope, and it's just changed my life in many, many, many ways. And so I'm not answering those kind of questions. And I'll tell you this is what's going to happen. I'm going to be pretty serious here for a second. What's going to happen here is that I am going to hide the chat. When I start the story, I cannot be listening to anyone. That's just the way it goes. I'm going to hide the chat. So, hi, Karen. Good to see you. I'm good. So, I'm going to hide the chat. So, all of you that are watching the chat, I was going to do this as a private scope, but it just felt not right. So, I'm going to hide the chat for myself. So, I'm going to tell the story straight through. And then I will have some times where I'll look up and I'll take some questions or some comments. Okay? Does that sound good? Okay. All right. This is important, and I'll tell you, it is important for me. Thank you so much for understanding that. And listen, here's the deal. Here's the deal. I have my tissues already. Here. So here we go. All right. So here we go. Whew. I gotta just like focus here for a second. All right. Here we go. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm going to move over and hide the chat right now, everyone. So I can't see you, no matter if you're in the chat and you are able to answer some questions for people or talk to people, then I would appreciate that. So it's good. I don't have any distractions. Okay. All right. I feel like I need to say a prayer first, so I would like to say a prayer first. Dear Mother, Father, God, Divine Source, Universe, all that is. We all come together today with open hearts, open minds, and an open spirit. We allow today to be a time of love and support and guidance for every single person here. And we ask that the story that I am about to tell be divinely inspired and as truthful as I possibly can be in relating what happened to me, and hopefully, dear God, that anything in this story might help someone else in their life in some way that I have no idea. And take a deep breath. Thank you very much. And so it is. Amen. Okay. All right. So, all right, I'm going to read to you the introduction, part of the introduction of my book, because it's a good way to start you into what happened to me. Okay? All right. Once again, I'm not going to say this again, but I've hidden the chat, so I can't read anything. Okay? So here we go. This is the introduction to my book. I almost died. This past June, about 3 months ago as I write this was written 2.5 years ago, I had a very slim chance of surviving a massive staph infection that invaded my body. I thought it was the flu, and so did the doctors, until after 2 trips to the emergency room, I was finally admitted to the hospital. Thank God. They had no idea what was happening to my body at first. All they knew was that very quickly after being admitted, I got massive pneumonia, my kidneys started to fail, and then I went septic. They then had to put me into an induced coma to calm my body down and start to drain an abscess they found on my liver, which is where they believed the infection was coming from. Once I was in this coma state, my chance of surviving this ordeal became extremely slim. And actually, I didn't put it in here, but actually after I was better, I found out that I had less than probably about 10 to 20% chance of making it through. So the doctors worked around the clock as my body was ravaged and trying to fight off what was attacking me while I lay in the ICU. Meantime, on the inside, I was actually having a near-death experience. This near-death experience is hard to fully explain in words, but I will try. I had the consciousness that something was wrong with me. Then, at the exact same time, I realized that it wasn't me, but it was my body. But nothing was wrong with me. I have always known that we are not our bodies. But this experience confirmed it for me, to say the least. And this was dawning on me. As this was dawning on me, I had the most supreme and beautiful sense of peace and calmness. You would think that a realization that my body was in major trouble would be something that would throw someone into fear and stress. Not me. I had an awareness that it was okay, and that all was good and all was love. With or without my body, I knew that if I was to lose my body, I would still be just fine. And I had no worries about not having it anymore. It was a freeing feeling, and one I had never really truly experienced before. And just at that moment, I had an awareness of all the love and support that was being directed towards me by so many people in my life. People close to my body and as far away as Australia and New Zealand were pouring out massive amounts of love directed squarely at me. This is hard to explain in words, but all I can say is that I just knew all these amazing beings were projecting love towards me. This made the experience of love that I had never had before even more intense and more beautiful. I do not remember making a choice to stay here in this body, but I must have. I believe that we choose to stay or go, just as we choose everything in our lives. I believe that it was the love that I felt from everyone that helped me to make the decision to come back and fight for my life. And thank God I did. I'm alive. I'm loving and appreciating life in ways I never have before. The reason I tell you all this is that this experience has taught me many, many things. And that's for another book. I will talk about that in a second. But for our purposes, I want to relate one of the most important lessons to you. I believe if you picked up this book or you're listening to this right now, in this moment, you need to hear this. The time is now. I come back to this life and this body knowing that in a way that I want to shout it from the rooftops, the time is now. The time you have here with this particular mix of people and energies is finite, and it will never be again. You will never have the exact circumstances, community, personality, relationships, or anything ever again. The time is now. The time to do what you want to do is now. The time to live your life the way you've only ever dreamed of before is now. The time to leave a situation that is not supporting your growth is now. The time to tell that person that thing is now. The time to leave the job that you've hated for years is now. The time to finally treat yourself with love and respect is now. The time to give to your fellow human beings is now. And the time to start your transformation is right now. Now, I'm not going to read the rest of this because it goes into something, but we're going to now, I decided that I wanted to read that to you, but I want to go back and I want you to see what happened to me, how it happened to me, and I believe why it happened to me. So I'm just going to go back now. So about 3.5 years ago, let's go back even further. This is going to be a little while, so get your wine. It's going to be a little while, because this is all important to the story. About 4 years ago, let's go to 4 years ago. I was living in New York City. I'd been living there for many years. I love New York City like it's my heart. It's my heart. I grew up in California. And I still have the same apartment. I lived in Midtown Manhattan. And I started having the intuition I needed to leave that apartment. I needed to shift. I needed to change. New York was starting to get on my nerves. I was starting to get a little angry. And especially where I lived right near Times Square. It's go, 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 go all the time. The energy is very, very, very strong. And I kept thinking, I want another apartment. I kept thinking, I want to get out. I need something to do. I started looking for apartments. Something was not right. I couldn't afford this. It's very expensive in New York, as you know. Things just, all I kept thinking was, something's got to change. Something got to change. Well, then I ended up coming here into this home, which is where my dad lives. I was here on a visit. It was a Christmas visit, and I had the realization I needed a break from New York, and my dad needed help because my dad is of a certain age, and my sister and I talked about it. We talked about it. It was very hard because it wasn't the form that I wanted. This is all going to come back to why this all happened. Let me tell you, just hold on. So I thought I was going to have another apartment in New York, or I was going to move somewhere else or something like that. But it was patently obvious that this was the move I was supposed to make, and my ego held on. No, you don't want to go back to California. No, you don't want to do that. But at the same time, there was a double purpose in helping my dad and helping me, and there was a lot of different things going on in my heart. And it was hard, But I decided to do it. I kept my apartment in New York, and I started slowly bringing stuff here. And I moved into this house, basically, knowing that I could always go back to New York if I needed to. About a month later, maybe 2 months later, I ended up going to do a retreat, to lead a retreat in Belize with some of my friends. So we led this retreat in Belize. I came back. No, I'm wrong. So I did the retreat before I moved in here. So I did this retreat in Belize. This isn't crucial to the story. I'm not going to go into all of that, but I did this retreat in Belize. I ended up coming here, spending my time here, and I was here adjusting to my life, trying to figure it out, all that stuff. Well, I ended up, I have many personal clients. I have coaching clients, I have readings, I do all that stuff, and I do it all virtually, so that made it easy for me to leave. And I remember one day, it was about 105 here. This is the desert. I'm in the desert of California right now. And so I ended up having, starting to get the chills. And I was like, I wonder why they have the chills. That's weird. I feel a little strange. And I was like, I wonder what's going on. And, but you know how it goes. I'm like, I'll be fine. It'll be fine. Well, it started to get bad. And I was like, literally, it was 104 degrees here. I was freezing. And I told my dad, I'm like, we have to go to the urgent care because I've got to figure something out. I had let go of my insurance in New York. This is another part of the story. We go to this urgent care. And I end up, feeling horrible. I'm sneezing. Things are coming out of my nose. I'm like horrible. And they're like, oh, you have the flu. You have a virus. Go home and rest. We can't do anything for it. You have a virus. And I was like, okay. Okay, great. I go back. I go home. The next day, I start feeling so bad again. Really bad. And I was shaking so bad I couldn't even hold my hands. It was crazy. And I said, Dad, we have to do something. I could hardly walk into the car to get into the door. And we go to the hospital. We go to the emergency into the hospital. They again say, you have a virus. You need to go home. And the rest of a lot of this story right now, except for my near-death consciousness experience, is going to be what I'm going to relate to you that people told me because I ended up going away. So we went home. I ended up, literally, I had a client, and I'm so dedicated to my clients. I had a session with one of my clients who's in Australia. I couldn't hold the phone. I could barely speak. I was so freezing that I was underneath my covers in my room, in my bed, doing a session while I could barely, but I was trying to keep it together. I was trying to keep it together, keep it together, keep it together. And that's one of the last things that I remember. Then, now I know my dad ended up saying, we have to go. He could barely get me into the car to get me there. They immediately put me in. They had no idea what was happening with me. I guess they gave me some morphine to calm my body down. But here's the interesting thing. I was conscious. I don't remember being conscious. I'm sure it is a survival technique that my brain does not even remember any of that. But I was conscious. I was able to talk. I was able to tell people information and whatever. But they calmed me down enough. They gave me some morphine. They gave me some other things. They said I was dehydrated. And, well, then they admitted me in the hospital. Well, they had no idea what was happening to me. At that point, I started to get pneumonia. And the pneumonia started to just flood my lungs, and I started to swell up and swell up and swell up. And but a friend of mine, two of my very good friends that live out here, Kat and Arnold, ended up coming out here. I live quite a distance away from Los Angeles. Well, they came out. My sister is a nurse. She has been in the medical field for 30 years. So she was here. My dad was here. My friends were here. And they said it was very funny because I was conscious and I was talking to them, and then I would go away. And they would see me just go away. And I was talking with them, joking with them, I would go away. I don't remember any of this. And I started doing readings for my friends. Started doing readings for my friends, and all this stuff started coming out, and that was like kind of spot on, and it was happening. I was just connected. I have no idea what was going on. But at that point, my friend Arnold, who's very spiritually connected, he's a great guy, he said that the whole room, I mean, there was a stillness in that room that he has never experienced before. And he said that he could see all the angels around. He could see the energies coming around. And he said it was absolutely beautiful, absolutely incredibly beautiful. And so then what they had to do was they needed to find out what was going on with the body. They had no idea what was happening with me. I started getting pneumonia. My kidneys started to fail. They had no idea what was going on with my body. And as they needed to lay me down to get a CT scan of me or whatever, but every time I lay down, I couldn't breathe, and I sat up. So no matter what, I had to sit up. And so they didn't know what to do with me. I guess now my body started to completely change shape. My body started to get so bloated and so over. I guess it was crazy looking. I don't know. Thank God I didn't see it. And that's when they called in the disease specialists and all these different people trying to work on me and figure out what was going on with me. Now, I want to read to you. I wrote about the 3 days before, and I'm going to read. This is what I'm going to read to you. I'm going to read a couple of things to you from what happened to me. So this is June 3rd. So this was a couple of days ago. We're going to get you caught up. So I wrote this a couple of years ago. Hold on a second. Hold on. Okay. I just want to read this to you. So this is June 3rd. This is what happened to me. Today is my second day of being admitted to the hospital. Today is the day when my body really begins to shut down. Today is the day when my systems start showing signs of failing. All my systems start to fail, one by the other. Today is the day I lose primary consciousness. So I remember I was conscious, but I wasn't conscious. Today is the day when I begin my inward journey of the consciousness realms. Today is the day that starts my dear sister Janine's 5-week vigil of never leaving my side and using all her medical knowledge to become the liaison between me and the doctors. Today is the day that my sister calls my best friends and family to let them know that something is very wrong with me. Today is the day when my two lifelong soulmates, Kat and Arnold, rush to my side to be with me for hours while I go in and out of my body and consciousness. One moment laughing and talking, and the next going away. All of which I'm totally unaware of, as I am in a state of conscious slumber, not aware when I am there and when I am gone. Today is the day when my beautiful soul brother Arnold senses all the angels and spirits in the room with us. Today is the day when the doctors really begin trying to figure out the mystery of what's happening to my body. Today is the day before my body needs to be intubated to survive. And I'm just going to read the next day to you. The next day, June 4th. Today is the third day of me being admitted to the hospital. Today is the day I am moved to ICU. Today, my body has pneumonia. I think it was before that, but that's okay. Today, my body is hit with massive antibiotics for this massive pneumonia. Today, my breathing is becoming almost impossible, and I am working so hard. Today, my body is put on a machine to force oxygen into my system because my levels are so low. Today, I want that machine off my face. Let me just pause here. They kept telling me that, I don't remember, that I just kept trying to rip it off and rip it off and rip it off. Today, my body can't lay flat because if I really do lay flat, I really can't breathe. Today, my body is starting to swell up so that I would not be even able to recognize myself. Today, my kidneys are shutting down. Today, I'm told that I'm conscious, but then again, I am on propofol, the Michael Jackson cocktail. Today, my body is exhausted from trying to stay alive. Today, my body is exhausted from trying to breathe. Today, my sisters tell the doctor that I am being given too much fluids. Today, they decide they must run more tests to figure out what exactly is causing it all. Today, an infectious disease specialist is called in. Today, my body is tested for everything, including HIV, hepatitis, and even cancer. Today, they test for staph. Today, my sister continues to call friends, clients, and family to cancel appointments and tell them what exactly is happening. Today, my lifelong friend Richard Patrick decides he must come from Tennessee to be at my side. Today, they need to do a CT scan, but they are not sure how, since my body cannot tolerate lying flat without my oxygen plummeting to dangerously low levels. Today, my body shows sign of congestive heart failure. Today, my sister suggests to intubate and sedate my body so that I can rest and stop struggling to breathe and be able to lay flat for a CT scan. Today, my body is intubated. Okay, sorry. I have to stop a second. Okay. Alright, I'm going to take a drink of wine. So, we're just going to go on to the next day. I'm going to read the next, what I wrote next. So, I was intubated, and I don't know if you know what that is. Intubated means that a tube is put down. You've seen it done. You've seen it done on all the shows. So, I cannot breathe for myself. I have to be intubated. Okay? So, I'm intubated. Today is my first full day of being intubated. Today, my body is this is exactly 1 year ago today. This is June 5th, just so you know. This is exactly 1 year ago today, June 5th. Today, my body is being kept alive by a respirator. Today, my body and myself are totally unconscious. Today, they still do not know what is happening to my body. Today is a critical day. Today my body might not make it. Today my sister makes her usual update calls and to friends and family, telling them that they need to pray. Today they have decided my body needs to be put into a semi-coma state to keep me laying flat. Today my body gets ready for a needle aspiration CT scan. Today the doctors want to see my lungs because of the pneumonia. Today my body continues to swell beyond recognition. Today they decide to lower my fluids because of the swelling and because of the kidney failure that is now starting to happen. Not to mention my sister's demand that they reduce the fluids. Today my friend flies to California from Tennessee. Today my body is tested for funguses. Today my body is tested for more infections. Today my body gets the CT scan. Today my body's CT scan results shows as they look at my lungs that there is actually an abnormality on my liver. Today they determine that my body has an abscess of unknown origin on my liver of significant size. Today they surgically insert a drain into my liver to drain the abscess. Today my body has a drainage bag on the right side under my rib cage. Today my body begins to expel what is being drained by the abscess. Today my body continues to be flooded with massive antibiotics. Today my body lays in the balance. Today I begin to float. Today I begin to slip into another world. Today I even appear on stage with my friend Lisa Williams while she is doing a mediumship readings on stage in Australia. Let me pause for a second. This is what I found out later. I didn't know that. I did not know that that was happening. My friend told me later. Just like the next line. Today I show up at a wedding in Texas where my friend realizes that I am in spirit and he tells me I shouldn't be there. Literally, after I got sick, I was told that on this day, my friend was at a wedding. He turned around and he's like, "Why are you at this wedding? What's going on?" He's very intuitive. He's incredibly strong. And he said, "Why are you at this wedding?" And I don't know what I said. But he realized I was in spirit and he told me, "You have to go back. You're not supposed to be here." Isn't that crazy? So today, I continue to float. Today, I travel. Today, I'm aware, but I'm not aware. Today, I float. Today, I am in a dream. Today, I float. Today, I realize this is not a dream. Today I float. Today I have the consciousness that something is very wrong with me. Today I float. Today I have the consciousness that it's just an interesting fact that something is very wrong with me. And today I float. Today I have the consciousness that it's not me that something is wrong with, and today I end up floating. And today I have the consciousness that it is my body that something is very wrong with, and today I float. Today I realize I'm okay, and today I'm floating. Today I realize that it is my body that is not okay, and I continue to float. Today I realize that it is my body, and today I have the consciousness that it is all good anyway. I'm going to go off the script for a second. So what happened for me is I had this consciousness that something was very wrong with me. And literally in that split second, and I know that I was not alive in this moment. I was not even connected with my body at all. I knew that it wasn't me, because my first vibration, and it's not even a thought, it's very hard to explain what I'm telling you right now. It was not really even a thought. It was a knowingness. This knowingness, this beingness was saying something's wrong with me. And immediately I knew it wasn't me. It was my body. It was my body. And as I realized that it was my body, I was literally like, well, it's just my body. Who cares? Whatever. And as soon as I knew that to be true, now I'm going to give you a caveat on this, is that I have traveled out of my body quite a few times in my lifetime. Been out of my body. But this was very different. This was very different. I've never been out of my body when my body was dying. And literally dying. And I knew in that moment it was just my body. And I was like, I mean, I'm not even exaggerating when my whole being was like, yeah, it's just my body. Whatever. And as soon as I was like, it's just my body. As soon as I was like, it's just my body, the overwhelming feeling of love and peace. And what happened was at that moment, I don't even know if it's a moment, I was out of time, I was whatever. At that moment, I literally could hear everyone's prayer. I could hear, I could feel, I could sense, I knew the love that all of these people were pouring out to me. And I knew, like I know who I am, that it was all okay. That everything was awesome. But I could feel them. And I knew that it was all love. And you know, I teach it all the time. It's on my arm. I've been doing this work for so long. But it wasn't until really doing what I'm telling you right now, then I knew it. I knew that it was all love. And I knew, truly, that I was lovable. And I knew that there was no separation. Even with all the work I've been doing for 30 years, I kind of needed this to tell me it is all love. It is all love. And it's not that it's all love. It's that I am love. And you are love. And we are love. And it's the most beautiful thing you've ever experienced in your life. It was amazing. And I had that experience. And I just knew it was all good. And you know what? I knew it was all good if I had a body or not. And then, black again. Then I was gone. Now I have to just tell you the story. So then I was gone again. The next thing that I remember was hearing a television. I heard this television. I know we're 45 minutes in. We still got some ways to go. And it was a television. And it was freaking... It was Family Feud with Harvey. What's his name? And I was like, what is going on? I was like, what's going on? And I hear my friend Patrick's voice. And he's like, hey, hi sweetie, hey boo, what's going on? And I'm like, and I thought to myself, of course you're here. You're my bestest friend ever. I'm like, of course you're here. And I'm lying there and I go, and I'm thinking to myself, well, that's great you're here. And then I'm like, oh shit, this must be bad. And I realize something's bad. He is here in the desert of California from Tennessee and he's holding my hand. And then I start to try to put together what's going on. And I hear the date. And I realized how long I'd been gone, actually. And it's very interesting because here's the deal. From the time that the end of that beautiful experience to that day, there was a couple of days in there. And I was like, whoa, I just lost like 6 days of my life. And as I heard the date, I think I heard the day, and I was like, what's going on? And I heard nurses, and and I remember him squeezing my hand. And I wanted to talk, but I had a tube, and it was crazy. It was crazy. I was still in the other world. I was still in this world, and I barely could make out what was totally happening. And I'm not going to go through. There's many details there's many details, which is a lot. But I'm not going to go through all that. But I realized something was really wrong when he was there, and suffices to say, I ended up. They had to get the tube out of my mouth. My friend Patrick, my sister, never left my side. She was always there. And I had to come back. I had to come back. And I realized that I needed to fight. I needed to fight for my life. And I would, at that point, those first day or couple of days when I started to come back, they were like, wow, you're here. And I didn't know where I was, and I had to, and I remember my sister whispering in my ear, she's like, use the law of attraction, use God, and I was like, I started to become more present, and they had to take the tube out of my mouth, and what happened before, I'm going to rewind, before I started to come out, they had to bring me out of the coma. That's right, because I was in this coma, so they had to bring me out of the coma before they had to deal with the thing. So I was in a coma for a few days, so they had to bring me out of the coma, and getting me out of the coma, there was all these complications, and I wouldn't come, and they were very scared that I wouldn't ever come out of the coma. That was a whole other part of it. So they had to induce me to the coma, but then it was very scary trying to get me back because my levels would go crazy, and then every time they tried to get me out, I would fall back, and it was just horrible, and I wasn't getting the oxygen to my brain, and it was crazy. And so I finally was kind of back out of the coma. I was starting to wake up out of the coma, and I was starting to see what was going on, and I hated the tube. I hated it. I wanted to talk. It hurt. It was horrible. It was awful. And then I'm not going to go into the humiliation of the other part, which you probably can guess. You get really, really, really humble when this kind of stuff happens to you, because you realize a lot of other stuff is going on with your body that you have no control over, and all I kept doing was trying to get it out, but they wouldn't let me because it's a procedure of trying to get it out, and they tried 3 times to get the tube out of my take the intubation tube out, and when they took the tube, as soon as they would start, I would freak out so bad, my body, that they had to stop. And there's only a certain amount of time you can be intubated, I guess. And so they had to get this tube out of my mouth, and they were starting to get desperate. They're like out of the coma, out of the intubation, so I could start to actually breathe on my own and my body start to come back. Well, they tried a couple times, it didn't work, and finally one time, I remember my sister, she's like, this is the last time, you have to do it. You've got to do it this time. And I knew. I was like, whatever it is. And this is where the fight to live really comes in. And I just was like, I'm doing it no matter what. And it was so painful. I can't even tell you how painful it was. It was just the worst thing in the world. But I did it. And it was amazing. And then, and I'm not going to go through the whole thing. We're already almost at an hour. But they got it out. And that's when my recovery really started. I found out, and just to really, maybe I'll have to do a part 2, but this is really a book. Because I was there in the ICU for 2.5 or 3 more weeks after that. I had lost over 40 pounds in like 7 days. They had no idea why I survived. They did not know what was really happening. The only thing that they really, and then really, that's when it started that I had to start to really fight for my life. And so they didn't know really what happened. And the only thing that they found was that for some reason I went septic because of a staph infection. And they said that my liver ended up having a mass staph infection, and this staph infection ended up, it's not a scientific word, but ended up exploding, and that infection flooded my whole body, every single organ. They didn't know why I would have had that, and there's still, I don't want to say controversy because no one freaking cares, but there's still a debate about it. But I believe I know exactly what happened. And they, remember at the beginning of the story, if you've been around and you stuck around here, I said that I went to Belize and I did a retreat there. I led a whole retreat in Belize. When I was in Belize, we were in the rainforest. We went on a hike. I got bit so badly on my legs, it was crazy. And we ended up going swimming in a freshwater, beautiful waterfall, swimming in that waterfall. And it was about 3 months before this. Those freshwater ponds and rivers have staph. And I had so many open wounds in my legs, and I went swimming in there. That is the only thing, and I believe that that's what happened. Because then it ended up coming in, going into my system and lodging into my liver, and it sat there. And I kind of knew, before all this started happening, I kind of knew that something was going on with me, but I was like, that doesn't feel right. But you know how you ignore things? Yeah, I ignore things. And it ended up being, and I'm pretty sure that that's what it was. That's what it was. And so that's probably why it happened. And I'm not going to tell the rest of the story. It just goes, but I am going to go back to this. Do you remember, I'm going to go back. Do you remember when I made the choice to move back to California? Do you remember that? Well, I know, if this would have happened in New York City, without my family around, without my sister to be my advocate, to do everything for me, I would have been dead. I know it. I know I would have been dead. And it's crazy. It's crazy. And I'm going to end it just on this note. There's more details, but we're in an hour. That's enough. That's enough. But listen, the last thing I want to say to you is that and I'll open up for questions and comments in a second. I'll look at the chat in a second. Is that, remember at the beginning I said I let go of my insurance? So when I woke up, one of the first things I thought was, oh shit, my insurance. Oh shit, my insurance. And then, because I work with spirit, because I know how to attract whatever I want to, I immediately started to, as soon as I could move my hands and everything, I told my sister to get me a piece of paper and start to work on my law of attraction stuff. So I wanted to have no bills. I wanted to pay nothing. I wanted it to be free and clear. Well, it just so happens that this hospital ends up being a hospital. They had to take me to it. A hospital that caters to people that really need help financially. Well, they told me, you need to leave here and you need to go there and you have to apply for this program. Long story short, I applied for this program. I thought it was going to help me a little bit while I was on oxygen and a walker, going 3 days after I got out of the hospital to this place, signing up for this program, and I wasn't even a California resident. It ends up, that bill was about 200, well, all the bills started coming in, about $200 and something thousand, probably close to $300,000. It ends up, I get accepted into this program. But I thought it was a discount or something. And I said, what do you have to do? It's like 5 weeks later, I was like, the bills are coming in. What do I have to do? What's going on? And they said, oh, you just give this number and it's okay. I was like, what? Because I know how the universe works. Everything always works out perfectly for me, and it always does work out perfectly for me. And she was like, no, you just call all those doctors and call the hospital and call them, you give them this number, and it's all paid for. So all of that, a couple weeks in the ICU, every single thing, all of that, almost $300,000, and I paid nothing. So that's my little teaching law of attraction part of the story. But, okay, I think that's it. I'm trying to figure out if I want to start talking to you, but we will. Okay, hold on. Alright, let me just... okay, I'm going to unhide the chat now. Come on. Show chat. Alright, I'm back. Okay, I'm back. Okay. So now I can see all of it. Hi, Sabrina. I love you too. Amazing. What does anyone want to say, or what do you want to, you're welcome. I am loved, Andrea. Thank you. I know it's kind of going crazy. Aloha. You're welcome. Thank you for sharing. You're a near-death survivor too. Good. This is a very long scope. I was in a similar situation. Oh gosh, it's going so fast. You're in tears. I love you too, everyone. Listen, if you missed anything, you gotta go back and watch it. I feel touched by your story. I am Jennifer. No words. Okay. I'm honored to know you. Oh, thank you, Charles. Thank you. My mom had the same. Oh, wow. She had a near-death because of allergic reaction. You see how that works? Everything is freezing up on this scope, just so you know. So if I don't answer right away, just know I'm waiting. Bless you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm sure that there's a big lag. Had to learn to walk again. Yeah, you know what? That's it. I'm glad that you watched it. I mean, I'm glad that you listened. You're welcome. You're welcome. And I have a whole list, and there's so many lessons I learned from my near-death experience and for what happened to me. It's just amazing. Yes, Siren. Yes, for sure. It's a huge miracle. Everything is a miracle. You know what? If this doesn't, if this kind of thing that happens in your life does not make you appreciate your life. Thank you, Lori. I know Lori knows. Lori knows. There's some people here that were here with me during that time. You almost died choking on a lollipop. Wow, that's crazy. Thank you, Jelly Bean. I appreciate it. You're in the same position as you were 4 years ago. Really? Wow. And the law of attraction works. You know what? It's all about aligning yourself and knowing that everything is always working out for you. And it really does. It really does. For sure. For sure. There's huge lags right here, and so I'm just going to fill in right here because they flow up really crazy, and then so now there's no comments. You know what I'm going to do? This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop this scope, and we're going to have an after story Q&A. You want to do that? Let's do that. Because I think it's better. Okay. I'm going to close this down. We're going to start again, and we're going to do an after show Q&A. Okay? Wow, Red. Bless your soul. Bless your soul. All right. I'll be back. And of course, craziness. Okay, I'm just going to wait till this does it. Come on. Yeah. Periscope is not doing... Thank you. Periscope's not being my friend right now. Bye.